Hey story seekers, it's Nesha and you are now listening to Nesha's Open Diary, where the stories are real and the tea is all about me. Welcome to Nesha's Open Diary. I am Nesha and you are listening to Nesha's Open Diary, where my story times are true and my experiences are real. If you are new here, welcome. If you have listened before, welcome back. And if you don't know what this podcast is about, it is about real life and real shit that I have been through and experienced in my life. These story times are from different periods in my life, from childhood to teenage years to adulthood. The diary is open and it's time for another story time. This story time is about a sleepover that took place at my friend's house. But first, let me give some backstory on how things that occurred at the sleepover came to be. This incident happened at my friend's house, who I consider to be my best friend. And as I have stated before, I had two best friends and two friend groups with whom I dealt with separately. They weren't friends with each other. And so with this one friend group, we decided to have a sleepover one weekend. I couldn't have been any more than 14 or 15. My friend has this cousin, let's call him D. And D always liked me and had a crush on me from the time he met me. So my friend will always be talking him up to me, singing his praises, bigging him up to me, D this and D that, just trying to sell him to me. But it was a hard sell because I wasn't interested. I was already messing with my son's father, who I didn't even have a baby by yet. We was just messing with each other, dating or whatever. And as I have said several times before, I was so gone off my baby daddy that I couldn't fathom being with nobody else. It was a no-go. And when she would be talking him up to me, I would be thinking, girl, I don't want him. Okay, like, why you telling me all this? And she talk about him a lot. These girls can't wear that. These girls gotta be fly. D. And I remember thinking, bitch, why don't you fuck him then? Because she was selling him so hard. I was like, damn. Is she trying to get him up off of her or something? So I get over her house for the sleepover, and we outside for the better part of the evening, hanging out, chilling, kicking it or whatever. And the cousin was nowhere around the entire evening. So it gets late, and we finally go in the house, but we still ain't sleep. We up talking, chilling or whatever. We in her sister room. We back and forth between her room and her sister room, just all around the house. And because we was all friends. I was actually her friend, but then after I met her sister, we was cool too. So we eventually make a pallet on my friend's bedroom floor because they had twin beds, and it just would have been, it was more convenient to make a pallet on the floor so we could all sleep together. And out of nowhere, the cousin D shows up. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, why is he here? This is a girl sleepover. And before I even went over there, my mother questioned me about who was going to be there. Did she have a brother? Is there a father in the house? And basically vetting the situation to make sure it was a safe environment for me to sleep over in. So after I told her that my friend's brother was like 6 or 7, she was okay with it and that there was no father present in the household. So she okayed it for me to sleep over. So when her cousin showed up, I was a little shocked because he wasn't supposed to be there. It felt like to me, she told him I was there and then he came over there, almost like they was conspiring behind my back. And he lived down the street from her. He could just walk down the block, literally. We all laid down on the pallet to go to sleep. I'm in the middle of my friend and her sister. And D, her cousin, was on the other side of my friend. Mind you, we all went to the same high school. He is 2 years older than his cousin and me. So at the time, he was probably in 11th grade and we was like in the 9th. So we laying there talking. Nobody is asleep yet. And I'm uncomfortable and had been since he entered the equation. I eventually fall asleep at some point. Don't know How long I was asleep for, don't really know when I fell asleep. I just know that I eventually went to sleep. But in the middle of the night, like in the wee hours of the night type shit, I wake up to find my friend and her cousin in switch spots. And he's spooning. And I was awakened by this nigga who then slid my shorts and my panties to the side. And he is trying to push himself inside of me. My eyes were big as saucers. And at that time, that's when I was very timid. You talk about shy. I mean, overly shy. And afraid to speak up for myself to anybody or about anything. A fucking mute. So, that's why I'm so outspoken now. Because I went so long being silent. I went so long being quiet. Went so long being shy, afraid to speak up, open my mouth and mutter a word, that now I'm very outspoken. So, I'm frozen. And I'm stiff as hell. And I start clenching my vagina like a Kegel exercise and my ass cheeks too to push him out, to stop him from entering me. Because he is trying to penetrate me. So at this point, he has to know I'm awake. And he just keeps on trying, but never says a word to me. I was scared to say stop or don't touch me. And he stopped eventually, I guess, when he could see that it wasn't going to happen because I was clenched all up. And I laid there for the rest of the night scared to make a move or a peep. Just laid there the rest of the night. In the morning when everybody woke up and got up, I'm still feeling some type of way about this. Like, do you know what you just tried to do? And he acted like nothing had happened. So I tried to gather myself and act like nothing happened. Tried to act the same. He got up and he went home shortly after. Which again was right down the street. And later in the afternoon, my friend comes to me and basically admits to me that she knows what he did and tells me he told her I was squeezing him out and wouldn't let him push his penis inside me. I immediately felt some type of way because it seems like she set me up for him to try to get me. But what her cousin did was attempted rape. I looked at her differently ever since. We continue to be friends, but now I'm moving more guarded around you. And she still kept trying to push him on me. And I just kept getting this vibe, getting this feeling that, are you pushing him on me so hard because he's doing something to you? Like, that's just what I got from it. Because she was selling him so hard. It was like, okay, what's wrong with him? Like, something don't sit right here. And so, even still, to this day, it's the same. Because in 2015 or 2016, I can't forget it. Because I went over her aunt's house to watch the Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao fight. And he was there. I mean, why wouldn't he be? That's his family. Actually, I went with my husband. And her cousin was rude to him. Wouldn't even acknowledge or speak to my husband. And was quite disrespectful. Because at one point, it was me, my friend, D's mother, and her aunt, whose house it was, sitting around a dining table in the basement where the fight party was taking place. And my husband goes and sits on this sectional, which put his back being faced toward, so his back is to us. The table's behind where he's sitting. And D is just so worried about me and trying to catch up with me and asking me how long I've been married. But the way he's talking is basically him trying to feel me out and see if he's going to be able to get in between to, finally make it happen. Type of, like, the way he's talking real creep-like. I hadn't seen him or her in years because, as I have stated in previous story times, I had moved out of state for some years. I lived in New Jersey for like 6 years because my husband was in the military. He still is. But I lived in Jersey for years. And then when I joined the military, I ended up living in Virginia for another 4 years. So we was out of the state where we're from for about 10 years. And so I'm basically, when I got back, was trying to reconnect with her and stuff or whatever. But the way he was talking, I could tell he was still as thirsty as he had always been. And after the fight party was over or whatever, I ended up talking to my friend like, some days later on the phone or whatever. And she is once again, knowing I'm married, once again, she's still promoting her cousin to me. OD said, where Tanisha at? And she tells me she told him at home with her husband. About time she said something, right? But girl, if you know I'm married, fully put your cousin in his place and tell him he is being disrespectful to me. He is being disrespectful to my husband, and he is being disrespectful to our marriage. But nope. She said that, made that little comment to him, but girl, go all the way in and let him know he been doing this for years. And she never really fully has. In fact, a little while after that, some months down the road, the holiday season comes around. And me and my husband go to her house for a New Year's Eve gathering. And she had it at her new house because she had just purchased a house. So me and my husband go. And like before, after this little New Year's get together to bring in the New Year's is over with, some days down the road into a whole new year, we on the phone again. And she is telling me once again, D said that's the type of bitch he need. Where Tanisha at? Where her husband at? Oh, is they good? Oh, I need her in my life. That type of stuff. And I have to stop and say this. I'm not going to say I'm the prettiest bitch in the world. I'm not going to say I'm the baddest bitch out here. But I do know that when I step foot out the house, I gets myself together. And when I went to this little New Year's Eve get-together thing or whatever, I wasn't dressed up like that, but I think I was looking pretty cute. I had a sew-in, a kinky curly sew-in with the little baby hair and all that, but I had a leave-out side part. I had on a long black cardigan that had gold buttons going up it, down the sides of it or whatever. I had on a black bodysuit, and I'm big on undergarments, like to make your silhouette and everything look good. So I had on a bodysuit, but I had on a push-up bra because I always like my titties sitting a certain type of way. And so I had on a black belt with a gold plate on it to match the buttons on the cardigan. I had on some ripped jeans, and I had on some black open-toe stiletto boots that had these gold spikes all over them. And I had on, corresponding type of accessories, bracelets and all that. My nails done, makeup done, all that. And a little purse and stuff or whatever. So my husband likes the fact that I keep myself put together like that and everything. But what he don't like is, he don't like the fact that I be showing my cleavage like that. Because he already say every time we go somewhere, niggas be drooling all over your titties and drooling all over your breasts hanging out. You showing these niggas your titties. You showing these niggas my shit. So he don't like that. And I'm not saying that he not right, because that just made the D nigga even more thirsty. So then after the party over, he's sitting up telling his cousin about how I'm the type of bitch he need in his life. That's the type of bitch he need and all that stuff or whatever. I mean, over all these years, you still haven't gotten the picture. The feelings ain't mutual, bruh. And my husband is aware of all of this because I told him about the things that happened when I didn't even know him and the things that have transpired since we've been married and we went around them. I'm very open and transparent with my husband, and he ain't worried at all because he know I don't want that dude. And if I did, I had plenty of time and plenty of opportunity long before I was married or even knew my husband existed to get with him. And ain't nothing changed. I could go around her today. I could go around her tomorrow and the same stuff would happen. You would think people would be smarter. Girl, you basically set me up years ago for your cousin to rape me. And y'all still with the same mess. I'm not sure if I could even still call her a friend. At this point, I might as well say she my ex-friend because we don't talk no more due to some other issues that haven't been addressed. But that's another story time for another day. And it just kills me how people conveniently forget the things that they do, especially if it's not done to them. They need to be worried about whether or not the statute of limitations is up at this point. I'm not saying that I'm going to try to do nothing. I'm just saying, like, if you're my friend, how do you knowingly set up a situation for your cousin to try to have sex with me that was by no means consensual? He was just going to take it without a single word. I should have told my baby father, who wasn't even my baby father at the point, because we didn't even have a kid at that point, what happened, and he would have beat his ass. But like in many situations back then, I never spoke up. I never said anything. So even if he had succeeded in having sex with me or raping me, however you want to look at it, I would have been afraid to tell anybody. And this story is very much true. And another experience that I will never forget. And all I can say is, watch who you call your friends. Don't let your kids spend the night nowhere over nobody's house. I don't care who it is. You even got to watch family members. So what you expect from somebody else's family member. Oh yeah, and before I go ahead and end this story time, to drive my point home, she even did this with other friends of hers. Like this one girl that her cousin messes with, it's her friend, but I kind of was friends with her too once she had befriended her and they was friends or whatever. She kept bigging him up to her and talking the same way to her about him, but she was dumb enough to take the bait. And then she started messing with D, and D be dogging her and treating her like trash. And I think she don't like me because of the fact that she know that D still likes me and wants to mess with me or whatever. So this other friend of her don't really care for me or whatever, given the situation. But girl took the bait, and I decided to dodge that bullet. Boo boo. Let me let you know, I don't want him. Never wanted them, never did, never will. All right, story seekers, that is all for this story time. I am out of here. Make sure you follow me on all socials at Nesha's Open Diary and my website at nesha'sopendiary.podbean.com. And until next time, I will meet you where the pen meets the diary. All right, story seekers, that does it for this story time. I'm out of here. Until next time, make sure you tap in. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Nesha's Open Diary, and I will meet you where the pen meets the diary.